decision to leave the SBC, or the Southern Baptist Convention, something that is a bit of a difficult thing at the same time. I mean, for you, and you kind of alluded to that, because there are so many people that you do love and hold dear and have been involved in those institutions and students, but yet you decided to leave. What was the impetus behind that? And how hard was that for you to do?
That's something I haven't shared the details of that, and I'm not really ready to now, but I can say that, I've certainly watched up close a lot of people being harmed, which again, we're all going to harm one another, and it is in some ways almost inevitable. But the real test isn't whether or not we harm one another. The real test is what we do in response to recognizing that harm or being informed of that harm. And so, yeah, I have to humbly admit that I've seen that harm being done to other people, and thought that I could, maybe make a difference. And it just became clear to me that at a certain point that that I couldn't, or I would have to choose between sort of being comfortable but being silent, and I didn't choose comfort.
Mm. I
So,
mean, not to get into the details surrounding it, but there has been a price you've had to pay. I mean, what is the pushback that you have seen, or it's been in the public eye, at least,
yeah.
and that's why I bring it up. You had mentioned it publicly, not, you
Mhm.
don't have to get into
Right.
the
Yeah.
details behind it, but at the same time, there has been a response. What's the
Mhm.
response that you have
Mm.
seen as you've decided to do that?
Yeah, I think the response overall has been pretty positive. I mean, there are, as you've already mentioned, there are people that I love and relationships that I have that, have been wounded, and that's a form of harm. I think most of the public and private response has been supportive, but ultimately, in the end, I'm 58 years old. I'm in a job market that is not looking for 58-year-old people, to take up a teaching career. I'm in a community and a family situation where it's difficult for me to uproot. So I'm basically facing probably unemployment, early retirement, whatever that might be, which is not what I was looking for. I wanted to kind of ride out the end of my of my teaching years, and in security and high style and teaching students.
It's okay. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to poke and prod on there. I know how hard it is, though, to pay the price for truth and to take a stand for something that you believe in the depth of your being. And I know that you've done that. And it's hard because people don't know both the sides of the story that we see. And we have to just be aware, and know that, and know God meets us. And that's the hardest part, though, because that doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
It just
Well,
doesn't. It
yeah.
doesn't.
I'm not, God will provide. We live a simple life, and it'll be fine. But I love the institution. I love the people. I love the students. And um, yeah,
Well, it's those relationships. That's what makes the
mm,
institution. That's the hard part, when you feel like the institution is taking away the people that you love in some respect, because you can no longer live under it
yeah,
without basically having a soul fracture. I
yeah,
mean, that's
yeah,
really what it is. You're experiencing almost a soul fracture, because on one level you see that the wrong done in an institution, and again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so forgive me if I am, because
mm,
again, I don't want you to be forced to do the details, but I know the separation that occurs between the people that you love that are a part of that institution but may not have allegiance to it, and yet they're still a part of it. And that's the hard part, saying goodbye to those relationships, and dealing with a great deal of misunderstanding for those who think that you're forsaking them, or that and it's really, you have to be honest with what God is showing you in the middle of all that. So not to go too deep, but taking that, oh, by the way, let's transition here for a moment. You actually brought out one of my favorite songs, Johnny Cash singing 9 Inch Nails, My Empire of Dirt. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. I mean, here's this guy that is at the top of his game. I mean, and I remember it wasn't too long after that, or was it filmed in the Johnny Cash like museum?
Yeah, the video I think was
Yeah.
filmed largely there. It's a beautiful video, and the song is wonderful. The video is very powerful and moving, and yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of close out that chapter on empire. Is like, if it's an empire of man, it's an empire of dirt, and you can have it all.